That looks like the wait is over. But we're going to go ahead and do some more research, of course. So we got the underlying energies, the King of Swords, Saggies. We're being serious right now. We're being real serious. This could indicate that you're maybe dealing with a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. This can be you if you feel like you're the masculine energy. The feminine energy can also be you as well, right? There's no gender or limitations to anything. But if you guys are feeling like you guys are more of a Sag, like a masculine energy versus a feminine energy, then the King of Swords could be talking about you right now. It could be talking about you, how you're seeing your situation, which is very, very serious, not messing around. This is like you're not playing any games. You're in the I'm not playing any games kind of thing. Okay, look at you, not playing games. Very straight and narrow, very angular. So why do we have that? Because of the Seven of Pentacles. I think there was a lot of reviewing of what, how much work you've been putting into a situation. And I feel like that's kind of made you come out of the situation feeling a little bit more like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure I get my cut because I didn't put all this work into this relationship. I don't put, go out of my way to do things and not see some sort of like not necessarily seeing a result, but the King of Swords is so factual. He's so literal. I kind of feel like you guys are really in a serious place at this moment, and it has to do probably with your finances, just considering all the earth energy that's coming up in this reading. So why is the Seven of Swords coming up in the heart of your reading? Seven of Swords usually indicates that there is, some sneakiness, something not being said, something's kept a secret, something's not being communicated at the moment. The Seven of Swords could also indicate that there is a risk being taken, somebody going, pursuing something that's high risk. So it could be that you're dealing with a very high risk situation here with the Seven of Swords. Okay? But I kind of feel like you guys are you're seeking the truth. The King of Swords always seeks the truth. And I feel like you may be in a position where you're seeking the truth, right? Or there's some sort of deceit or something like that. Let's see, why is the Seven of Swords coming up? And the reason why I'm going with the lying or something's not being completely communicated is because we have the moon in the external energy. And I don't like that really there with the Seven of Swords coming up in the reading. The only card that I'm seeing that's like someone is not conscientious of there being something to hide. But the Seven of Cups, Seven of Swords, Seven of Cups. Yo, man. So it looks like there's some scheming or some dreaming, like there's something here where you're not communicating with anybody about something, and it has something to do personally with some options that you've laid out in front of you, or it's something to do with whatever makes you happy. Because the Seven of Coins is coming up, and underneath the King of Swords, and the fact that you have 3 sevens all together, I mean, that usually indicates personal changes. Okay. So not only are you guys trying to figure out what you guys want, but you're also not communicating or talking about it out loud. So there's there's something going on. There's something that you're not telling, something that you're looking closely at and taking your time at growing. Because I feel like there's either something that needs to be said or what. Honestly, I don't really know. Because the Seven of Swords, Seven of Cups, it can kind of give the impression that everything's all right, everything's fine, but in reality, everything isn't. Right? Everything is just confusing and kind of loopy. But you're taking a risk, and it has something to do with maybe some of the options that you may have been considering as far as having, enjoyment in. I want to know one more. Give me one more for that. Why is the Seven of Coins? Why is the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups coming out? The Knight of Pentacles. Okay, Knight of Pentacles, that's coming up twice. So this does have something to do with either something practical, money-wise, commitment. It's like you're looking at the situation and you're like, I'm not sure if I really want to get involved. Let's see why we have the 7 of coins coming up in here. Because of the fountain. Just being. And you feel like you're kind of, like, there's just a lot of... The 7 of coins also can talk about there being, like... There being a period where there's not much you can do. Like, you've done everything. And the 7 of coins can pretty much talk about, like, you know, reviewing something, right? Evaluation. So going back over the work that you've done, or trying to make sure that there isn't anything else that you need to do, or trying to figure out what your next steps will be after already doing all the work that needed to be done in the situation. So the King of Swords coming out, like, you want facts, you want information. The King of Swords will communicate no problem about his truth. He knows what he knows. But the fact that you guys are coming up as King of Swords, like, you guys already know what's not being communicated. I feel like it's kind of covered under a facade of happiness or something nice. But it's really just kind of like... It's like somebody who's working really hard with the 9 of Pentacles. Very focused on money. Very focused on taking their time with something. And then, you know, the 7 of Cups, that's the too good to be true card. It doesn't necessarily mean that the situation is legitimately too good to be true, but it can indicate that there may have been a lot of, you know, it indicates fantasy, right? It's a fantasy situation, but the 7 of Swords is like, it's blatant sneakiness. It's something that's not very clear. I don't really want to, like, say anything bad about this reading because I'm not necessarily getting a lot of bad hits. It's just something's off, though. Something's definitely off. You have the 9 of coins coming up in the past, so you're definitely feeling confident. I think maybe some of you guys that were in relationships, maybe you guys were feeling like, you know, you're single in a relationship that you're currently in. Maybe alone, maybe feeling a little alone. But the 9 of coins can indicate, too, that this is a time of peace and, you know, disconnecting from the world. Like, you are having your alone time, and that was great. Like, there was a lot of rejuvenation in this area. I feel like you were giving back to yourself. You were not in any sort of troubling position. Like, you're good here. But the Knight of Pentacles, somebody's looking at some sort of details, right? I think someone may be offering something of great value, may offer something to you in great value. Maybe this is about committing to a relationship. Maybe the 7 of Swords has to do with, like, okay, someone comes in, you know, with this idea of starting something. Somebody offers something of great value, and it seems too good to be true, so it's automatically seen as a lie. Or, you know, there's not a lot of, you know, there's no information, or there's nothing being said right now because maybe you haven't really made up your decision about what you want to do about it, or vice versa. Maybe you already know, you've already taken the risk of going after this person, communicating with them how you feel, and wanting to initiate some sort of long-term commitment with this person. Why is the Knight of Cups, why is the Knight of Pentacles coming up in the present for Sagittarius? What is that? Yeah. Okay. Something about moving in together, marriage, moving up in a place of commitment. Some of you guys may be like, no, with this whole situation, or like dodging it because, yeah, it seems too good to be true. And you still haven't necessarily figured out if that's what you really want. Marriage, kids, moving forward in that direction. Some of you guys, you know, like I said, it could be you that's offering all this. And you're taking that risk. Because at one period you were fine being single, then next you're like considering moving in with somebody, or somebody offered to you an opportunity to move up in a relationship. But why do we have the 10 of Swords comes up now? 10 of Swords is that can be a devastating ending, something that just stops. And with the 7 of Swords, 10 of Swords, that looks like to me somebody ghosts or somebody disappears. It's like the future shows that. But why is the 10 of Swords coming out? It can indicate too that maybe there's some sort of waiting that was going on, and now it's over. That waiting period is over. The worst part of that situation where you had to wait for somebody's response is over. Why is the 10 of Swords coming out? Usually, Ten of Swords is not a really... The Emperor. Okay. So, it kind of looks like, with that Ten of Swords and the Emperor there, it looks like there's like an ending of control. Of like being the alpha male. Like, you may have to consider someone else. Why is the Emperor coming up with the Ten of Swords? Yeah, it looks like you're like, either someone's gonna miss having their own way with the situation. Like, that ends, because of course when it comes to moving forward in a relationship, there's compromise that goes along with that. And I kind of feel like somebody may be feeling like they miss that part of themselves. The Five of Cups too can indicate like loss of missed opportunity. And it kind of looks like the situation, because it looks like somebody is relinquishing control, perhaps, or the situation no longer like procrastinates like it has been. Someone starts taking control, and they work on what's left of the relationship rather than dwelling on the pieces that are already broken. But usually the reason why usually these are cards are indicated for the past. So this is because of an effect of some sort. And I kind of get this vibe that with the Ten of Swords, like, the Emperor, like, what's ending is the Emperor. I don't know if this is somebody who's really masculine. Like, the Emperor and the King of Swords are very similar in itself. There's somebody that's very controlling, somebody that has their own way or the highway. The King of Swords isn't necessarily looking to control people. They're looking to only control what's theirs. So if they are... for instance, themselves is theirs, right? So they want to control what they want to do. They want to do things when they feel like it, not necessarily when it's like giving of someone's time and space for someone else. Not that sacrifice. The Emperor, I think it's because he sacrifices so much of his own freedom, right? The Emperor is the king, right? Ruler of his empire, so he has to sacrifice something. So he doesn't want to give up any more of that. So same with the King of Swords, but I think something was lost, caused somebody to really like bulk up, get a little alpha with it, not wanting to compromise at all. But then it's something, and then but that just stops. I kind of feel like somebody was taking control of a situation or jumped in, and it just ends. So your advice is coming up as the Ace of Coins, and that talks about the beginning, a new beginning in regards to commitments, love, longevity. Like, this has the potential to get there. And I kind of feel like the person that's procrastinating is the person that obviously that has made up their mind. The King of Swords is never confused. But this whole reading is really confusing anyway, because look at where the moon is. The moon is an external energy with the Knight of Pentacles. Somebody's taking their time because they don't really know. They can't predict the future. They can't see what's coming. And of course, it doesn't really matter, because what their intentions are is the most important. There's insecurity surrounding the situation. Why is the Ace of Coins coming up as the advice for Sagittarius? Three of Pentacles. Okay. So, I think there was, hopes for the future, ideas in regards to stretching out or spreading out. And I think the Ace of Coins may be like the go for it card. It's going to require commitment. The King of the Knight of Pentacles, he commits, but it takes him a little while to commit. So, whatever was causing some sort of procrastination, either for you or someone else, the advice is saying right now, like, the best time to invest and do something about it is now, especially with Leo being in Leo season. Using that feeling of passion. The Ace of Wands is coming up too, so that passion and energy can be used as fuel to move forward in in a project or a dream or some sort of commitment. Because we're going into Virgo season after Leo season, and Earth energy is the best when it comes to physical manifestations. Things come into fruition in Earth seasons usually. They can be depending on how you time the manifestation. And what better time to do it than now? The Ace of Wands is in the hopes and fears. So, I mean, that means to me that, you know, I feel like there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of energy behind why you're doing things. And that's great fuel to go and do what you want to do. Especially if you've been planning this for a while with somebody. If this whole thing with, like, you know, this person offering something and you've been taking some time out to really think about it, well, I feel like this is your time to act. The King of Swords is one hell of an individual to take action. Let's see why we have the moon in the external energy. Wow, the moon is coming up because of the moon. Because the situation's just confusing. Nothing really makes sense. There's a lot of insecurities, like I was saying. Things are kept in the dark here. Nothing's really communicated. I feel like it's really predicting the unpredictable. The future is an unpredictable thing, especially with free will. I kind of get this vibe that, you know, the thing that's kind of holding everybody back is the I don't know factor. You don't need to know. The King of Swords doesn't need to know anything. He doesn't need to know how the future is going to turn out to take action, because he knows how he'll handle it to get what he wants anyway. So it's the same situation. And the moon is coming up double time. It is coming up double time. So that to me tells me that there's literally somebody that's, you know, either offered something to you and they're waiting on a response, or they're taking their time to make a decision about something that they honestly can't really make a real decision based off of, right? Like, for instance, like maybe this person is hoping for a guaranteed glimpse into the future. There's no guarantee. So I feel like with this situation right now, you're either waiting on somebody that's trying to figure out if this is the right decision because they're honestly uncomfortable or they're a little scared because they don't know, right? This is a really big risk. The Seven of Swords is coming up. You have a lot of sevens in here. There's a lot of personal evaluation here. And I kind of get this vibe that somebody's just unsure of how the situation could go. Even though they are excited, even though they've got a lot of passion for the relationship and for this new venture, I still think they're hesitant because either they're not sure of their own capabilities, they're not sure of what they can put into the offer, but they have everything that they need. It's just like looking at the relationship that's the biggest point, right? Like not looking at what you don't have anymore or what you don't have. So you have the Knight of Swords that's coming in your external energy, and the outcome. And the Knight of Swords talks about just going for it, right? Tunnel visioning, just taking, just going, charging in. Total polar opposite of the Knight of Swords. That is the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles, that energy is slow, precise, purposeful, is meticulous. But this is about gunning it now. The outcome looks like you no longer are held back by the uncertainty of the world, right? You no longer get held back by the things that freak you out or the part of your life that makes you slightly uncomfortable. There's no more letting the doubt hang on. It's like you're done trying to control everything. You're like either you or the other person. It doesn't have to be just you. It could just be the other person. But there is completely letting go of any fear here. It's being fearless with the Knight of Swords. Knight of Pentacles is I'm not saying is a fearmonger, but Knight of Pentacles is very cautious. Very careful. Because he wants to get everything correct. He wants everything to be perfect. So I kind of feel like you're not going to get that perfection. You just have to take the risk and see how it goes. If this is about moving in with somebody, if this is about you offering to move in with someone else, the reason probably why you're waiting is because there's either something financially that you need to take care of, or the other person is just having a lot of, dark night of the soul kind of healing and stuff. So let's see what Sagittarius needs to surrender regarding this reading here. What is the big thing that Sagittarius needs to surrender for this reading? Surrender effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The act of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. And that's what I was seeing here with the Ten of Swords, Emperor, and the Four of Cups. I think something was just gone. Something's just done. And no matter how much someone tries to push it, it's just going to cause it to end even further. So I feel like if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. There's not much you can do to keep the situation. Yeah, there's not much you can do to make the situation work. If it's just not working, it's not meant to work. But there's nothing here saying that it won't. There's just a lot of anxieties and fears that it won't work. But it doesn't mean it won't. It doesn't mean it can't. Okay? So you guys have message in the bottle. That means that maybe a lot of you guys have been seeing a lot of synchronicities, a lot of signs, maybe pushing you towards this sort of decision, this really big step in your life for some of you guys. You guys have just been noticing maybe double numbers, triple numbers, and things like that. Like, the message is not necessarily the message. How you react to that message, that is the piece of information that's the most important. Because how you react to it is a sign. It's something that your body's telling you. It's a mechanism that's going off to let you know something. So I don't know if you guys have been like hitting some situations where you see stuff or you hear something and it triggers a memory or makes you feel a certain way. It's important to take note of what that feeling is and why you're feeling it, or getting to the core of why you're feeling it, going down those rabbit holes. We've got a lot of Nine of Pentacles energy, so looking into the details can't be that hard.